All right, Beds, we're back. This is our third annual NFL preview. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, man, ready to dominate. Let's dive in.
Third one.
I can't believe it's the third one. Time flies, so I guess it doesn't surprise me. Let's see if I can predict a little better this year.
The thing about the NFL is you really can never fully predict. Even the guys that do this for a living and make money off it, there's still a percentage of things you're going to get wrong or things you're just not going to see.
And the starting quarterback goes down and it blows up everything that you studied and prepped for.
Aaron Rodgers goes down in the first series and changes the whole complexion of a division. But it'll be fun to talk about. So what I'm hoping to do is run through division by division, talk about things you're excited about, players you're excited about, make some predictions on who you think is going to win each division, and then we'll see how we did at the end of the year. Is that cool?
Let's do it.
So why don't we start with our division, the AFC East. Pats, Jets, Bills, Dolphins. What do you think?
Top of the division is pretty tough. Jets, Dolphins, Bills, rotate, repeat. Obviously, the Patriots are going to be on the bottom side of that. So it's like Aaron Rodgers, what does that look like this year in his first full year? Hopefully he's healthy. Defense is stacked. They got some studs on offense. Hall is going to be a top fantasy running back this year. The wideout position is pretty nice. I don't want to give up on the Buffalo Bills either. So what are you thinking in the AFC East?
The odds, Jets are the favorite at plus 165. Bills second, plus 195. Dolphins plus 205. So that's fairly close. Pats plus 2,500. Pats are going to be a bottom three team in the league, so they stand no chance of winning this division. I think if they win 4 games, that would exceed people's expectations. I'm actually hoping that they get another top 3 pick. That would be perfect for me. Aaron Rodgers is the big wild card because he's over 40 years old. We've seen that over 40-year-old quarterbacks can play in this league. He seems like one of those guys. If he stays on the field, Breece Hall is a stud. Top 2 running back in the league, definitely in fantasy. Garrett Wilson, freaking stud. Everyone loves that guy this year. Defense is good. I'd be inclined to think that the Jets could win that division. Bills, I don't know. Josh Allen, does he have what it takes?
Addition by subtraction scenario?
Maybe.
Was Diggs such a big distraction? It's like a lot of times the Bills, I was watching some of their games and it was like they're always panning over to Diggs and it was just like he just always seemed unhappy. That would have been exhausting. They've got a good coach now. To your question, Drake May sort of reminds me of Josh Allen, the guy that's able to improvise, the guy with the big arm, the guy that can take a hit. And I don't want to, call Drake May Josh Allen, but it's kind of the quarterback that I would want our team to have. I'm still rooting for the Bills, and I can see the logic that they're not too far apart. Who's the better quarterback between the 3?
Probably Josh Allen. But he makes a lot of mistakes. He's a big turnover guy, big interception guy, fumbles. He obviously tries to make things happen. When he makes things happen, it looks incredible. But then when it goes wrong, the ball ends up on the other team's hands. So, yeah, he's probably the best quarterback. But that just shows like Aaron Rodgers is the biggest wild card, because if it's Aaron Rodgers the way you expect it to be, then they probably have some better skill players, better defense. It's just a matter of whether he stays on the field and performs like he did prior to his injury.
So then I start to wonder, who is the better coach out of the 3? I don't know that we could get too much into how good they are and do we even know enough about each one of these coaches, but I don't know. What has the Jets coach ever done, the last couple of years? Maybe you can give him a mark against some of his injuries and his teams, but I don't know. I'm leaning the Buffalo Bills in this division for some reason.
I like it. Experts would say that Robert Saleh, who's the coach of the Jets, is not that great. Same for McDermott for the Bills, although he's had some success. Mike McCarthy seems to do some pretty cool stuff down in Miami, so I don't know if he's the best coach in the division right now. They definitely have a top 2 or 3 receiver in Tyreek Hill down in Miami and an explosive player in A-Chain. But Tua's, I don't know. He's looked real good in certain times. I mean, there was MVP buzz for Tua last year for the first half of the season. I think this is one of those close divisions. If you take Buffalo, I'd probably say the Jets just based on their skill players.
I'm going to ride with Buffalo this year. It probably should be the Jets, but I'm going to give the Bills one more year. I'm going to see, without Diggs, what does that look like? One more year in that system. One more year for Josh to learn from some of his dumb mistakes. Is this kind of like the, all right, I'm going to take it over the top and beat the Jets and win this division? I'm going to say yes.
I like it. Hey, if there's one team I actually want to win the Super Bowl this year, outside of the Pats, which is not on the table, would be the Jets. I mean, not the Jets, the Bills. Not the freaking Jets. I would love to see the Bills win. I just don't know that they could piece it together.
You know, the guy coaching Miami, real quick, Randy, it's like he's got that loose feel to him. He's got that young feel to him where it's like you could tell the guy's like playing for him. But I wonder in the Belichick area where it's like you need to be serious. You need to know your situational football and do your job. I wonder if Miami lacks that a little bit with his coaching styles.
Sometimes I think, and we probably talked about it on the podcast before, if Belichick's style is a thing of the past, you know, if that's just us being old men thinking that it has to be more the Belichick way and any other way is not as effective. He's had some success. I think everyone loves that dude. He's part of the Sean McVay coaching tree. He's got some good pedigree. Now we'll see what happens.
I'll go Bills, Jets, Dolphins, New England Patriots in the cellar.
I'd go the opposite with the top two, but yeah, I mean, I think Jets, Bills, Dolphins, and Pats is probably the order that I would take. I love it, dude. A little bit of difference right off the bat. When does Drake May start for the Pats? What week?
6. You?
Yeah, probably 6 to 8, something like that. Give him some reps behind Brissett. They named Brissett the starting quarterback earlier today. So I guess that's what everyone expected. They would want Drake May to not be thrown into the fire. I do think Drake May is the one thing to be excited about on the Pats, given his performance in the preseason, some of the flashes that he had. What excites you about the Pats? Anything?
Some of the younger defensive players. I think Gonzalez, within the next couple of years, we're going to really talk about the corner that we have.
He got hurt last year, missed back half of the season. Nice to have him back.
We just traded Judon, and a lot of our friend groups thought it was a terrible move, but I think it's the right player at the wrong time. So you got guys like Jennings. Keon White we drafted last year. The guy's a piece of granite. All you hear is good stuff about him in practice. So he's going to get more playing time. Uche a little bit. The Drake May thing is where I want to be as far as excitement's concerned. He's got a big arm. He can move. He's better than Mac in the areas that were obvious with Mac that he could not be good at or great at. You know, it's moving in the pocket, throwing a dart. I guess he just needs to learn the system. Mayo announced it today. It just seems like the kid is a better football player, but it needs to be in the system longer. So I'm rolling my eyes. What are your thoughts on it?
I agree with everything you said. I think we're in a position to let him learn from Brissett, so it's probably the right move. What do you think about Mayo in general so far?
My only criticism is, as stubborn as he was in certain areas that made me not like Bill, I don't like the over-disclosure so far. Because it's going to allow some of these guys to really sink their teeth into him when he's at the podiums. Did I need to know there was an announcement for the starting quarterback? Probably not. Today's area of how we should get news, maybe it's a good thing that they're telling us. I hope it doesn't bite him in the butt. As far as the X and O's, I don't know how that's going to play out because we're not going to be a good football team. I hope we could just get through year one, nothing big drama-wise, and hopefully with the salary cap that we have next year, some of the salary cap that we're carrying over, have another good draft, develop the young guys, and slay in free agency. And year 2 is going to be a big year for him.
So we're spending a lot of time talking about this division and the Pats, probably the most time that we'd spend on any division, but I think the only way we can do it is through the draft. I really do. Like, you listen to Bill Belichick's comments about Massachusetts. Was that yesterday or the day before?
Yep.
And it just kind of bummed me out because he's right. It just makes me think without a Tom Brady, it's hard to get people to come to New England, all things being equal. Crap team, you get all the taxes. It's like, why would I come to New England? So it's like, we really do need to build it with the draft. And that's how we did it with Brady. It started with hitting big in that draft, building a culture, and then people wanted to come despite the Massachusetts and all that sort of stuff and the cold weather. Maybe we could sneak a few free agents in the next couple of years, but like, we definitely need to, keep our wins low, crush the draft next year, a year after, and then see where we go.
We have big pieces. We have the corner. We have the quarterback. it's building. It's getting there. So I think we have some stuff to hope for as Pat fans, but we'll see.
Good news is that we should be able to get tickets to games for cheap, so that's cool.
And also, just a quick thing on Bill with that Taxachusetts. As a random example, 2 years ago when the Jets were making a play for Tyreek, the wide receiver now in Miami, it was down to Miami and the Jets. And one of the things that came out after the fact, I mean, Miami for any athlete, why wouldn't they want to go to Miami? But
Same basketball.
Allegedly, those contract offers were similar. New York has that same millionaire tax. The difference in that contract, I believe, was over $4 million in taxes.
So it's fairly easy. Oh, you get to go down where it's perfect and live in Miami and make $4 million more. It seems like a no-brainer, especially when it's not like the Jets are great or the Pats are great. So it's a fairly easy decision. All right, we'll see what happens. I'm going to move on to the next division, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, AFC North. So we get the Bengals, the Browns, Ravens, Steelers. What comes to mind for you?
Steelers, they don't have a quarterback. Worst case scenario for them. They're going to be in the bottom. Cleveland, Cincinnati, Ravens. First thing I see when I see the Ravens is like, can the kids stay healthy? They got the weapons. They've got the line. The kid just can't stay healthy. So it's like one of those things that you and I harped on with Tua in Miami last year's pods. You know, is this the year he's going to stay healthy? Lamar Jackson, what a stud. I missed on him. I can't remember now who we drafted. I think it was our left tackle.
We couldn't draft him. I wanted us to draft him at the time, but I think we got another Super Bowl out of Brady afterwards.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I wasn't super hyped for him either, but he's awesome.
He's developed into that guy. I think it really comes down to, I mean, Cleveland's going to be scrappy, right? They were scrappy last year, but it's a two-team division.
Can I share some odds?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cincinnati's plus 145 to win the division. Baltimore's also plus 145. So the odds agrees with you that it's a two-team division. Browns plus 550, Steelers plus 800. So I just want to say about the Steelers, I'm very surprised that they went and got Russell Wilson after getting Justin Fields. It didn't seem to make any sense to me. Like, I liked them going for Justin Fields. There were some promising things about him. Wasn't perfect QB, but I thought maybe a change of scenery could make something happen, and they go and get Russell Wilson. I don't know. It just seems like they created some chaos when they didn't need to do that. So they're out. Browns, freaking mess, man. With Deshaun Watson, like, that dude hasn't played all preseason. That contract, just the bad vibes and juju that you're around Cleveland. Chubb's still not back from his injury. He's going to miss the first 4 weeks. But when he comes back, what does that look like? They should have brought Flacco back. That was awesome when Flacco was back last year.
That was great. Dude, real quick on Fields. Yeah. How bad has that draft class been? Trey Lance, Fields, Mack?
Yeah, Fields is probably the better one out of them. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is, we get to him at some point, but none of those guys have really hit.
A lot of hype for that class. So, okay, so the odds makers say my thought, and you're piggybacking it with the Ravens Bengals. You know, it's a coin flip.
Who do you take? I'm going to take the Ravens. I'm waiting for Lamar to break through. I think they won the division last year and gave it a run, but they haven't gone to that next level. He chokes in the playoffs. I want him to put together a good season. They have the pieces on offense and defense. Like, they're a good team. And to think that Cincinnati has the same odds as the Ravens, I don't know about that, because yes, they have Jamar Chase. Yes, T. Higgins, those guys are good weapons. Chase has been out all preseason. Like, why should we think that Burrow is going to be fine? You know, he hasn't played more than a few days in a row throughout the whole preseason, or hasn't thrown more than a few days in a row. The wrist injury he had last year is like a freaking 5 people in the world have that injury, and no one ever in NFL history has had that injury. So he might be back and be fine, but like, why would I think that they would have the same odds as the Ravens? I feel like the Ravens are a sure thing. So I don't know.
It is a weird injury. It's like Zingis with the Celtics. That was a weird injury. I want to say the Ravens. If you let me go first, I was probably saying the Ravens. Actually, I'm not going to do this to you.
Just take the Ravens.
I'm going to go the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to say that Burrow has a similar year that Tua had last year, where you and I were ripping on his ability to stay healthy, and Tua, you know, he did it. I wonder, too, a little bit about the motivation with Higgins and what's going on with some contract stuff with those guys. There should be a sense of urgency. So, Cincy, Ravens, for the fun of it, I mean, you have to go Browns, Steelers, yes, probably?
I mean, it really could be either or. Browns could be a complete dumpster fire. Pittsburgh, I mean, they do have Mike Tomlin, so I could see it going Pittsburgh third, Browns fourth, but I guess it doesn't matter. Just so you know, I see our 2 picks so far. I'm probably 2-0, I would say. Just looking at that.
I'm actually thinking that right now.
AFC South, Texans, Colts, Jaguars, Titans. I'm going to share the odds with you first, just to give you some context. Texans plus 105 to win, Jaguars plus 250, so a little bit closer. Colts not that far behind it, plus 340. Titans plus 1,000. So why don't I start this time?
Yeah, let's do it.
So with the Texans, there is some serious CJ Stroud love. I don't know where I stand with it. Everyone loves that guy. Maybe because I didn't have him on any of my fantasy teams, I don't share that same love. He seems like a great guy and got a good head on his shoulders, had a great year, but everyone's ready to crown him as the face of the NFL and give him that division. What are your thoughts on CJ Stroud?
The guy running the Texans is Nick
Caserio. Yeah.
This might be a front office guy coming from the Bill Belichick tree that's actually building something pretty nice. That was impressive last year. It tells you that from top to bottom, between the front office and coaching, everybody's in sync there. I wasn't expecting any of that. I was very impressed by his play. I don't know if they had a strong enough draft and off season to kind of build from there. I mean, that division, there's some athletes, there's some players in that division.
So the thing about the Texans, they have 3 really good receivers, and Stephon Diggs, I think the guy is kind of a cancer, but Nico Collins is a stud, and then Tank Dell is probably as good of a third wide receiver as anyone has. They have Joe Mixon as running back, which that dude's flown under the radar for the past few years. No one's excited about Joe Mixon, but he's a pretty good running back. Damian Pierce kind of sucked, but as the number 2, they have some weapons on offense. So it makes sense that they're the favorite in that division. But then you have the Jaguars, who, at least last year, man, Etienne, Lawrence, then when they had Ridley, they don't have him anymore. They have some weapons too. So what are your thoughts on the Jags?
Lawrence, to me, it goes back to that draft class. It still isn't a good enough body of work for me to really buy into Lawrence.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it so far. I don't know if I've not watched enough about him, but I've had him on some fantasy teams. You look at his numbers and it's like, man, you're the dude down there. What is going on? He seems to make some bad plays at wrong times, like a little bit of Brett Favre in him, but coaching was not a good thing for him early, so I don't want to be too down on it. I don't know. It's probably a step back this year is what I'm thinking with them.
So their wide receivers are Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis. Those are probably the two most notable ones. Evan Ingram is tight end. I don't know, man. I had Trevor Lawrence in a couple leagues last year. I bet big on him, and he didn't perform, and I got a front row seat to that. So I'm kind of out on them. Have no real interest in having him on any of my teams or anyone really on Jacksonville besides ETN maybe. How about the Colts? Everyone seems to be loving Anthony Richardson. If you see any of these QB tier rankings for fantasy, Anthony Richardson's somehow in that top tier. Guy that played not a whole lot of games in college and not a lot of games in the pros, but he's a guy that can get some rushing yards and everybody's putting a lot of potential in.
I was high on him last year, drafted him, was not regretting it, and then he got hurt. The Pats drafted a left tackle instead of Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is way better of a player than I thought he would be. When I saw Anthony Richardson, I was like, this is my chance through my fantasy football playing to get the guy that I wish was on the Pats and Jackson. I love the kid's game. I love guys that can move in the pocket, outside of the pocket, that can throw absolute lasers, and that's what this kid does. So, big fan.
Love to see him stay healthy. See what they do. They still have Jonathan Taylor. So, a lot to look forward to there. Tennessee, nothing of note there. Tony Pollard's on that team now. People were really high on Tony Pollard last year. We'll see if he can do anything in Tennessee.
So, what do you think? Yeah, man, thank you for listening, by the way. Me and Randy are amazing at this. I am going to be 3-0 in division talk now because I'm going to take the Texans.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Texans too. Yep. I hate to take the favorite, but I'm surprised the odds aren't better for them.
Okay, so here it is. It's clear as day. We should take the Texans. CJ's going to get an injury that costs him 8 weeks now.
Yeah. And as we were talking about Richardson, I'm like, here, the Colts are going to be the freaking the team that comes out of nowhere and wins this division, makes the playoffs. But if everyone stays healthy, which is the thing that we always talk about every year, winning in the NFL is basically who stays the most healthy throughout the course of the year. And a lot of that's luck. All right, we're going to move on to AFC West. The odds for this one are pretty straightforward. So we have the Chiefs, they're minus 260 to win it. Chargers plus 350, Raiders plus 1,000, Broncos plus 2,200. Tell me why the Chiefs aren't going to win the division, if there is a reason.
It's okay. Another year older with Travis Kelce for the first time since I've had him as a fantasy keeper, which has been like 6 years in a row. Later in the season, those stats dropped off. Some of the play dropped off. A little bit of an injury issue late, so maybe that's past him. Wide receivers, it seems to be like Rice is a question mark with some of the off the field stuff.
It sounds like he's not going to be suspended for that this year, people say.
Yeah.
Maybe next year, but like everyone's expecting big things from Rashee Rice. I don't know if I said that 100% correctly. I've heard a lot of people struggle with the pronunciation of that. If he's healthy, Pacheco could be another good year for him. Carson Wentz is Mahomes' backup.
When I was looking at the division, I got a screen up here while we're talking. The 2015 Pats were buzzed by injuries and went into Denver, that Gronk game where Gronk caught the fly route, and then Jules cut him off for the 2-point conversion. It was one of those Brady comebacks. That year, I cannot believe how we held it together. That is the only way the Chiefs don't get through that division. If they just have a slew of injuries and something affects like a major position. We were lucky to have Brady in my example.
Yeah, getting back to the injury stuff. So I'm going to keep this one moving and just take the Chiefs.
Yep.
Nothing special for me with the Raiders. Herbert and the Chargers. There's talk about this Josh Palmer receiver being pretty decent out there, but it seems like it's KC's division to lose at this point. Some people are fired about Bo Nix and Bronco in Denver. I had a friend text me, big Denver fan. He said he has Bovid. He's fired up about Bo Nix, but I'm not a big Denver guy. Seems straightforward that the Chiefs are going to win this one.
Chiefs, but some guys to pay attention to, just to have some thoughts on the rest of the division, is like the stud tight end the Raiders drafted, the coaching change in Los Angeles, the defensive end that they have that's probably the leader for the rookie of the year defensively. Yep. So it's like the Denver Broncos, I don't know what they're doing over there.
Sean Payton's just trying to fix the mistakes that had been made prior to him getting in there. So maybe in a couple of years they'll be competitive, but I think right now in this division, Mahomes is at peak of his power. He's the freaking man. Yep. Yeah, he's so good. I don't want to see him win too many Super Bowls, but he's fun to watch. And he's kind of won me over a little bit. I actually put Mahomes in the category of Steph Curry, where it's like, dude, how can I not like these guys?
Yeah.
He's great.
Dude, don't disagree at all. As I get older, I let go a little bit of the protection you have for your favorite teams and you start appreciating others. Mahomes is creeping into the Brady area, and I'm okay with saying that. He's really good.
He's the man. So we're going to move on to the NFC East now. We have the Eagles minus 125, Cowboys plus 170, Commanders plus 900, Giants plus 2,000. What are your thoughts on this division?
This division will have a team that employs Bill Belichick in the future.
Which one?
The Philadelphia Eagles. There's something going on between that head coach and the quarterback.
Is it Sirianni? I think is his name.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what's going on. You read there's little pieces here and there of like a rift between those two, and it's like where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't know that coach has enough longevity where that owner would say, you know what, you two need to get along. It's the coach that would go first. But if you plug Bill in somewhere, that's a roster with a quarterback where I'm like, that makes sense for Bill to coach 3 to 4 years.
And they have Smith at one wide receiver, Brown at another wide receiver. They have Barkley. Dude, that'd be pretty fun to have Belichick over there.
But Dallas Cowboys, you had some money issues. You're making a decision with Dak. I know they just signed Lamb. That kid's a unicorn. Commanders, they've got some excitement now because it looks like their quarterback is in the same area of what we're dealing with. Big arm, can move, all of that stuff. Pretty good athlete. The kid.
Hey, he's awesome. Yeah. He could be great. Watching some of his highlights recently, I was like, damn, would have been nice if he ended up on our team. But he's also freaking 160 pounds. Not really, but he's very, he takes one good shot, might break him in half. But he is fun to watch. Commanders have new ownership, so you like to think things are changing there. They're building towards something, and they have a big piece now in Daniels.
Barkley gone for the Giants. I don't think they're big Daniel Jones fans because we saw their GM positioning some thoughts with the Pats GM to maybe slide into 3 to grab May.
Yeah,
Again,
that didn't end up happening.
That didn't end up happening, but going back to May, it's like it's nice to know other teams wanted what we have. So it's my pick. I don't think it's going to go well for the Eagles this year. I don't like how they played down the stretch. They're super talented. And I'm the Dallas Cowboys. They better get their shit together.
And Michael Parsons, he's the best guy in the league on defense. I mean, he's like probably a shoo-in defensive player of the year. I'm going to take the Cowboys as well.
Really?
I am, yeah. And not that I want to copy. I was going to take them before you said it, but they don't seem that different of a team to me. It does seem like Philly has maybe a few more offensive weapons, but CeeDee Lamb is the best receiver. Dak is a great quarterback. It seemed like the Eagles peaked at a certain point in the season last year, and things went down fast. And I don't have any reason to think that things are going to be back on that upward trajectory. There's stuff going on with the coach there. This feels to me like a step back kind of year. We'll see. So anyways, I'm going Cowboys. Can't take Commanders. Can't take the Giants. So, all right, we're going to move it along. We're going to go NFC North, which is Detroit plus 130, Packers plus 230, Bears plus 280. Those three are all actually fairly close, and then the Vikings plus 1,100. So I know you're a big Packers guy now. Go Pack, go. What are your thoughts on the Packers? Jordan Love?
Watson getting healthy was good. They have young wide receivers. It just seems like what I want the Pats to be. They do through the draft. They're really good. Can you crown the division? I don't know. There's Detroit lurking right there. Is that a good enough football team to take it from them?
Can we just talk about how freaking lucky the Packers are for having their third stud quarterback in a row?
Are you kidding me?
Favre to Rodgers to Love. I'm not ready to put Love in that category, but they obviously paid him a lot of money. He looked great last year. He's young. I wouldn't have minded that transition from the quarterbacks that they had.
They had Dan Jarowski, I think is his name, and then they somehow get lucky that the head coach for the Falcons didn't like Brett Favre, so they get Brett Favre for basically $5. They get almost 20 years of that. They get an amazing run of Rodgers, and now they get Love. What team has that run of quarterbacks? You can look up and down the list right now, and I don't think you can stack 3 in a row like that.
I know last year was a transition year, but in general, Love wasn't full-blown Love. He was, but now the way he finished was strong. So they got Josh Jacobs. A lot of people are high on Josh Jacobs. I've kind of moved on from him. I had him on my fantasy team a few years, and he was like feast or famine. I don't know that I'm ready to say he's like a freaking absolute stud for them, but
Josh Jacobs.
Packers, people like the Packers, but what about Detroit? When we talk about Buffalo winning the Super Bowl and me wanting them to win the Super Bowl, like Detroit is like that other team. I would have loved for Detroit to win the Super Bowl. They're a fun team.
They've done a good job of accumulating talent. They've had some luck in the back half of some of their drafts. St. Brown wasn't a high draft pick. They're well coached. The guys like him. He seems to be like disciplined enough and crazy enough combination where it's like you want to run through a wall for this guy, right?
His name's Dan Campbell. Freaking guy's a stud. There's like memes of him online with just like stuff he says, and I think he's awesome.
I picture him as today's Belichick, like figuring out how to be old school but with a very strong personality.
You've heard the phrase like football guy?
Yeah.
And like Dan Campbell, to me, looks like a football guy, like kind of what I would picture in my mind if someone's like, what does a football guy look like? And it's him to me. I don't hate Jared Goff. I don't know why. He's not that good, but he's freaking good, man. And I'm hoping for good things. I have Jahmyr Gibbs in some fantasy leagues, so I might be a little bit biased towards them, but I think that's going to be a fun division. I don't think the Bears are there yet, so I'm surprised that their spread for odds is so close. Caleb Williams has looked good in the preseason, and they definitely have some weapons. What do you think about the Bears? They never seem to really put it together.
I was thinking with them, wide receiver position is set now. Quarterback position is set. Hopefully the program's good enough to guide them through some successful years. You have a stud quarterback now. Cold weather, regular grass. There's a lot of excitement in this division. Rookie quarterback, their quarterback, up-and-coming quarterback in Love. Detroit Lions doing Detroit Lions things. To answer your question, it's going to be exciting for the Bears. What do you think?
Their wide receivers, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Dunze. Anyways, DeAndre Swift. Could be fun, man. It could be one of those first years in a long time that it's fun to be a Bears fan.
It's Randy's turn.
I'm not taking the Packers. I'm not taking the Bears, and I hate taking the favorite, but I kind of put Detroit in that category with the Ravens. They got someplace last year. They got a taste of it. Now they're coming back with that experience, and I want to see them go next level. So I'm taking the Lions. I knew you were going to take the Packers.
Yeah.
So you're a Packers guy now.
Big Packers guy.
Okay, we're going to move on then. We're going to go NFC South.
Yep.
And this doesn't seem like a super fun division to me. It wasn't last year. It doesn't seem like it is again. But here are the odds. Falcons minus 130. Bucks plus 320. Saints plus 400. Panthers plus 1100. So that tells me odds makers think it's Atlanta's division to lose.
Really?
That another year Robinson, second year Robinson, and obviously Kirk Cousins is huge. What are your thoughts on this division?
Another young quarterback in Carolina. What are the Saints doing? I mean, they're trying. I don't know.
Who is the Saints quarterback? Why can't I think of this?
Is it Winston? Is it Jameis?
No, Winston's on a different team now. So yeah, New Orleans is like a black hole for me. I know nothing.
That's why I'm joking about the quarterback.
Kamara maybe is, he's obviously a little on the older end, but no one in New Orleans excites me at all. Panthers are in the conversation with the Pats as being one of the worst teams again this year. No real weapons. Bryce Young seems like a bust.
You can't discount some of the championship sort of area that the Bucs still have defensively. Some of those guys are still kicking around, flying around. You still have Godwin. You still have Evans. That guy just keeps producing every year. It kind of reminds me of Kelsey. Year two.
Totally under the radar. Like, totally under the radar, in my opinion. Mike Evans is probably approaching a Hall of Fame wide receiver, but people don't put him that way. He's put up some stats, won Super Bowls.
Huge. Year two for Baker. What does that look like? It seems like everywhere Baker's been, Baker's going to do this, Baker's going to do that. That was a great year last year for Tampa. They fell into him. Allegedly, Bill wanted him in New England, wanted to drop Mac, and I guess that was a Bob Kraft thing that said no to that, allegedly. So what's the truth to that? I don't know. But Baker comes down to the Falcons and Bucs.
I do like Baker. I liked what he did last year. I don't hate what's going on in Tampa. I do like Kirk Cousins. After watching him on quarterbacks, I'm a big Kirk Cousins guy. I think the Falcons made the worst draft pick in history, taking Michael Penix Jr. in the first round. It just makes me think they're being run by a bunch of idiots. And I know they've tried to spin it off, taking the best available player and all that stuff. It makes zero sense for a team that goes and signs Kirk Cousins to the contract they did, that you would think is trying to win in the period they have him under contract, to start planning for the future all of a sudden. It's like, get a weapon, man. They let Dunze go to the Bears. They could have got him, and that could have been the other receiver they have. Right now they have Drake London, Darrell Mooney. But if you add a good receiver to that mix instead of Michael Penix Jr. as a backup, like, maybe I could take you seriously, but I don't know how I'm supposed to.
Keep going.
It doesn't make any sense.
Is it my turn? Yes.
What?
Is it? It's my turn, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Looking to see. We don't have that much different.
Who are you going, Falcons or Tampa?
I was going to take Tampa, but I'm taking the Saints.
What did you just say?
Taking the Saints.
Just to be different?
Just to be different.
Wow, thank you. I might run the table this year.
I know. I accept that I'm getting my first two right. I'm taking the Jets and the Ravens. So, hey, man, you never know. There's going to be a division that someone's going to come out that's unexpected, and they're going to win it. This division, in my opinion, is the shittiest division in football. So, why couldn't it be the Saints? We'll see what happens. I just dominated that. Wow.
Wow, you did. I don't know how I'm going to recover from that.
Yeah, you're rattled. All right, NFC West. Niners, minus 195. Rams, plus 350. Seattle, plus 650. Cardinals, plus 1,300.
Okay, the class of the division there is the 49ers.
Yes. But are they primed to take a step back? I wish they would have won the Super Bowl when they made it last year. Shanahan's had some bad luck in big games. But I don't know, man. Like I don't look at them as the same way that I mentioned with the Lions and the Ravens, where they made it someplace and now they're building towards getting over the hump. I just feel like the Niners blew their chance. McCaffrey is hurt. Ayuk, yeah, I heard he's actually practicing, but hasn't signed a new contract or anything. Their defense is obviously really good. I don't know about the Niners.
CMC, I've had him for years in our fantasy league. I hope this is not the year. He just married Olivia Culpo. Shout out to the Culpo sisters, the three of those girls, Rockets.
They appreciate that.
Yep. I know they listen. Is it the curse of Olivia this year for CMC? I really hope not. I need a couple more years of CMC. What would it look like with Tom Brady on the 49ers right now?
You texted something earlier about you hate seeing Brady throwing videos when he posts those.
Because it's like a big tease. It's like, Tom, stop doing that.
Dude, get out there. Throw the pads on. I'll buy the 49ers jersey. I don't care.
He looks amazing. It's like, you got dumped. You had a terrible last year in Tampa because she ripped your heart out. Now you're Bachelor Brady. It's perfect time to throw footballs around everywhere with dudes. Why don't you go play an NFL football season?
He just dunked. You just posted a dunking video the other day. Dude, I can't even touch the net.
Dude, my net in my yard is set at 8 feet. When I let Lucy out this morning, I looked up at it. I'm like, I should grab that with two hands. And I'm like, no, I don't want to hurt myself.
Yeah, he's dunking. So he should definitely come back. I actually got to say, I can't believe it's taken us 40 minutes plus to talk about Tom Brady. So that's anyone that was betting on the under lost big.
I went with Bill Belichick coaching for the Philly, thank you. If there is a spot where Tom slides into, it's the Niners with a sneaky backdoor Raiders thought.
Well, I know he's still trying to get ownership. That would be interesting. Hey, man, I'll have Tom Brady till the day I die. So if he came back, that would be probably the best thing that could possibly happen. It seems like he's putting too much prep into his off-the-field stuff. He's a week away from announcing games, and there's no real chatter about him doing that. So it's just more of me and you being idiots and imagining. But it sounds like Purdy's their guy.
Hey, Purdy gets cleaned out, third play of the season. Things are going to get weird.
Rams. People are sneaky high on the Rams. I like Stafford's. Karen Williams, good little running back. People think Cooper Kupp's back. And then Puka Nacua is a little bit banged up too, but they could make some noise.
I have a 6-pick parlay over 1,000 yards that I put in for $50 to win 108,000 in in one of the picks that
Sounds
I had.
easy.
It was it sounds great. Cooper Kupp 1,000 yards over, vibing on that.
People say he's a freaking animal in terms of working out and focusing on his physical fitness. So, yeah, man, I think it could be a big year for him. He's obviously older, but there's certain guys that have shown that they can exceed expectations at older ages. The one thing I'm surprised about this division, I have no real thoughts on the Seahawks. They're just whatever for me. But I'm surprised that the Cardinals are so far down in terms of the odds, plus 1,300, because obviously you have Marvin Harrison Jr. Connor's not a bad running back. Kyler Murray is one of those guys. I have him in a league, and I guess I'm kind of betting on him staying healthy. But if he can stay on the field, he has some weapons.
Yep.
Not that they're going to win the division, but I think they could make some noise more than people expect.
So you're batting leadoff this division.
Yep. I'm taking the Rams. I feel like you're going to take the Rams. But
are you serious?
Who do you think I'm going to take? The 49ers? I just laid a sermon about why I thought had peaked. Are you taking the Niners?
I thought the Niners were a gift, and I was going to say the Rams to be different. Didn't you just pick the Saints?
Yeah, I'm actually making real picks here, dude. I'm trying to mix it up. You're like Beds is like, who's the favorite? Okay, they're the favorite. I'm just going to take them.
Okay, I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to take the favorite. I'm going to take the Better's odds favorite. I'm going to definitely – I think I might have just run the table on you.
Okay. I like all the predictions. So I'm going to recap this real quick.
Okay.
AFC East, I took the Jets, you took the Bills. North, I took the Ravens, you took the Bengals. That's our two differences there. We both took the Texans in the AFC South. Both took the Chiefs in the AFC West. In the NFC East, we both took the Cowboys. In the North, I took the Lions, you took the Packers. I took the Saints in the South, you took the Bucks. I took the Rams in the West, and you took the Niners. So we got some differences and some overlap. I'll be interested to see who wins. We'll definitely update everyone.
Yeah, this one was fun.
Yeah. All right. We are close to wrapping up, but I do want to know who you think wins the AFC, the NFC, and then who wins the Super Bowl. So,
okay.
So why don't you pick an AFC team first, and I'll pick second, then I'll pick first for NFC.
Okay. I'm going to be wrong here, but I'm going to go with my heart. Let's go, Buffalo. Hey.
I love it.
Hey,
dude, I hope so.
Dude, I'm doing that for the family down in Florida, my wife's side. I don't know what it is. I'm rooting for Josh Allen this year. Let's go. I need to be invested in something.
I would be very happy. I'm going to take the Ravens.
Okay. That's a great pick. Great pick.
So, great pick. Surprised neither one of us, as good as we said the Chiefs were, and that Mahomes is still like the greatest or one of the greatest, we both kind of bypassed them. They're not going to win it again 3 years in a row. It's freaking ridiculous. So.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen.
This is
something's going to go wrong.
Yep.
Okay, so I go first, NFC.
Randy goes first.
I'm going to take the Lions.
That is a strong pick. I like that. That is a strong pick. I'm going to go Pack, go. I'm going to go the Green Bay Packers.
Wow.
Yep, let's go. Let's go.
All right. So who wins the Super Bowl?
You go first.
I'm just writing this down. Man, there's who I want to win the Super Bowl and who I think wins the Super Bowl. I want the Lions to win the Super Bowl, but I'm going to take the Ravens.
Lions-Ravens Super Bowl call is a really good call. Everything goes right. I mean, you have to think that you're on the better side of this prediction than me. I'm banking on a young team making a leap in the Packers. I'm banking on subtraction as an addition for the Bills. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills as the Super Bowl champions.
Dude, I love it. I love it, man. I hope so. That's what I would also want to happen, but I think those are some solid picks. So I'm definitely 8-0 in the division. I probably nailed actually everything. It's wow. It's incredible.
No big deal.
It's incredible. Don't want to pick all the individual awards, but I do want to talk about MVP because if I'm taking the Ravens to win the Super Bowl, like in my mind, that means that I'm picking Lamar to win MVP. So like a hard time saying that like, okay, I'm going to take the Ravens to win the Super Bowl, but at the same time, Josh Allen is the MVP. I guess that could be possible. I'm going to just avoid Mahomes again this year. Like, who else is in that conversation? CJ Stroud? Jalen Hurts? It's going to be a quarterback. So it's like, who are those guys that could be in that conversation as winning the MVP realistically? Aaron Rodgers?
Jeez, dude, a sneaky betting odd is, I think it's like plus 1,400 for Jordan Love going back to the Packers. Is he at 1,400?
I will. I want to get that. I'll pull that up. Jordan Love. That would be a hell of a freaking pick for MVP if he won. I mean, they'd mean they had a great season.
Yeah, it's like I'm going with that sneaky pick of the Bills winning, but I'm definitely leaning on the fact that I think the Packers are going to be boss hog over there. I'm going to say Jordan Love for my NFL MVP. I'm going to ride that Packers bus right into the championship.
Love it. So, okay, here's the odds, though, just so you know. Oh, wow. I'm just going to write this down real quick. I'll share some odds with you. You said Jordan Love?
Yep.
Okay. So, Mahomes, plus 475. So, he's the favorite. Number 2 is CJ Stroud at plus 800.
That's
so I was a little bit surprised by that. Josh Allen plus 900. So there.
Makes
Joe
sense.
Burrow plus 950.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts plus 1,200.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. And then we get to Jordan Love at plus 1,400. So then, dude, there's 3 more guys before you get to Lamar Jackson. So Aaron Rodgers plus 1,800, Jared Goff plus 2,000, Dak plus 2,000, Lamar plus 2,000.
So, Randy, was Jordan Love the 5th quarterback in that cluster?
6.
Okay.
So it was Mahomes, Stroud, Allen, Burrow, Hurts, and then Jordan Love. I cannot believe Burrow is the 4th favorite. I guess he has the weapons, so maybe that's what it is, but I'm just not sold on his wrist. Dude, I might have to bet this. I might have to throw some money on Lamar. How could I not after I made the prediction?
Well, if you're going to waste $100, like, let's make a case for Jordan Love in this case. Like, top 6 odds, you're probably throwing out Jalen. You're banking on Burrow being healthy. You know, I guess Josh Allen and Mahomes are getting in the way of the thought of Love. But if you're playing with some odds and you want to make a decent amount of money for $100,
it's not bad. Yeah, so like you just said, if you just throw out Mahomes because he's won it enough, right? Let's say he has a great year, takes a step back. Say Burrow isn't the same Burrow. Say Hurts takes a step back. Then you're really just looking at C.J. Stroud, Allen ahead of Jordan Love, and it's not that far off to think that he could. But if you're taking Buffalo to win the Super Bowl, then Josh Allen's probably having a really good year too, and he seems like a guy that's on the cusp of winning at least one. Is it too early for C.J. Stroud? I don't know. We'll see.
Is it too early for Love?
Yeah. Well, same exact argument. Yeah.
Yep.
So, anyways, dude, those are all the things I want to talk about. I'm fired up for the season. Made some good predictions. Hey, we're only a few days away from it starting.
I'm excited, man. This is the best part of this. Yeah. I like the seasons around here in New England. It's so fun to watch football. Family gets together, you eat some food, you banter a little bit. The text messages nonstop on Sunday.
Yeah,
Randy's got a million things going on. He's never responding to them.
I'm not watching any football. I'm just watching Sunday Night Football. But yeah, we'll see. Okay. But all right, pal, that's it, man. Let's wrap it up, and I'll see you at a fantasy draft tonight.
It's going to be fun.
Can't wait, dude. All right, I'll talk to you, pal.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.